What is happening, guys? Paladin here, and welcome to another deck profile. This one got first place in Battle of Chaos locals this weekend. I played Invoked Dogmatika Eldlich with Dragoon in it. So let's get started. As I did before, I will present the deck engine by engine. So let's start with the invoked one. 3 Alistair the Invoker, pretty standard, best card of the deck. 3 Magical Meltdown and 2 Invocations. No terraforming, only these cards, only 8 cards for the Invoked Engine. Let's move on with the rest. Now with the Dogmatika Engine, 2 Nadir Servants, 1 Ecclesia, 1 Fleur de Lis, and 2 Punishments. I didn't play Maximus and Season. I don't find them necessary in this deck, and to be honest, I prefer to have the space for the Dragoon Engine, so I sacrificed a Winda for Dragoon, which was pretty solid, to be honest. So this is for the Dogmatika Engine. And now let's move on to the Eldlich one. 2 Golden Lords, amazing card. 3 Cursed Eldland, 3 Scarlets, 3 Conquistador, and 1 Huaquero. Usually I play these 2, but one was pretty solid, and I didn't really miss the second one. So I believe that these ratios are very good and very solid for this deck, because this deck is a hybrid, it's not pure. In pure you play 2 of these, at least 2. And since we played with the new format, the new Banlist, 3 Skill Drains, the best card in this deck, and generally in control decks is this one. It's amazing, it's auto win going first, and it's just awesome with Eldlich, just awesome. So this is for the Eldlich part. And now okay, so 3 skill drains, and now the Dragoon Engine. 1 Red Eyes, 1 Dark Magician, and 3 Red Eyes Fusion. The reason I play 3 is because in this deck you basically play what you draw. It is very consistent, and Dragoon with skill drain is kind of game, because Dragoon is beefy. It's like 3k attack, and if you just happen to open with these, you're pretty fine in my opinion, because you have Dragoon and back row, and that's the good part with this deck, because you can have many combinations, not just a standard board, which makes it difficult for the opponent to side for it. So 3 Red Eyes Fusions, you can play 2. In my opinion, 2 maybe be a bit better, but 3 were solid for me. This is just my opinion, of course. And now for the hand traps, 3 Ash Blossom, 3 Lancias. This is for the Invoked Mirror matches, for the Phantom Knights, for Virtual Walls, and other stuff that, you know, banish cards. This was very solid for me. It's a light attribute also, so you can just, you know, make Mekaba with it, worst case scenario. And finally, 3 Impermanencies. I had Veiler in mind when I made this deck, but Impermanence is better because you can negate your opponent's monsters, also going second, so I picked Impermanence for this deck. And let's move on to the side deck. No, to the extra deck first. So 1 Dragoon, 1 Staniclad for the Dogmatika Engine, 2 Mekaba, 1 Purga Trio, 1 Raging, 1 YUGIOH, 2 entities for the nadirs and punishments, 1 Pleiades. This one is for the Eldlich traps. They are level 5s, so you can make this one with 2 of them, 1 Quaquero, Conquistador, and stuff like that. And you can pop or return to hand your opponent's cards. Then we have 1 Omega, which you can make with Ash Blossom and an Eldlich trap. And also you can throw it in the grave with another servant to, recycle stuff and have more resources if needed. Anaconda, obviously for Dragoon, and 1 Almirage and 1 Gardener for the, usual invoked play. So this was the extra deck. And finally, let's move on to the side deck. So 3 Drolling Lockbirds, a card that I side very, very often in almost any format, if I don't main it, of course. The Red Lotus, one of my favorite decks, as you know from my previous deck profiles. Very, very good card. It can save you if your opponent, has evenly matched in hand or lightning storm, stuff like that. You can, basically protect your board with this, not just see your opponent's hand. 3 barriers. Solid versus Sword Soul versus Virtuals versus in the mirror match, of course, versus Invoked. A 3rd Golden Lord. This one going second is very solid. Like when you play versus any deck, you want to start with Golden Lord in hand to bait your opponent's negates. So I just side the 3rd one in game 2 to have a possible bait for my opponent's negates. 1 Harvest Feather Duster and 1 Red Reboot. For back row decks, these 2 weren't really needed for me, but just in case they were in the extra deck. And the final card was Solemn Judgment. I have the 3 strikes just for the representation, but I had 3 judgments in the side, to protect my board from evenly matched or back row hate stuff like that. And I just lent them to a friend, so I just put the strikes here for the deck profile. This was basically it. The deck is just fire. It's amazing. It's very consistent. It's very solid. The triple skill drain is a huge boost for this deck, especially for the Eldlich part. Dragoon is very solid. The bricks kind of suck, but Dragoon is Dragoon, I didn't want to play Enforcer in this deck, basically because many people are prepared for it. So I went with Dragoon, which is more beefy, and with skill drain is very strong on board, and that's basically it. Nadir Servant at 2 kind of hurts the consistency, but it wasn't that big of a deal. I didn't really miss Winder, to be honest, because the boards that this deck can make are very, very strong. Like you have, Mekaba plus Ecclesia with punishment and Fleur de Lis in hand, Golden Lord with all the back row. It's very, very strong. It's a very, very strong deck. In my opinion, one of the top decks right now, with pure Eldlich, of course. That's basically it. I want you guys to ask me anything you want in the comments below. Let me know what other deck profiles you want to see. I have a Brave Token coming out in the mail, and so you will guys have another deck profile possibly pretty soon. That's basically it. See you next time. I'm waiting for your comments.